for taking time out of your busy schedule to check out the Ambit Energy opportunity, the presentation. Like I said, my name is John Haas. I first saw this opportunity back in December 2007. At that point in my life, I was working at the United Nations complex. That sounds real romantic, but I was an operating engineer. What did that mean? I was working 4 or 5 floors below ground, running 4 big steam turbines, turning chillers that were providing chill water to the complex. And I was working rotating shift, which means the first week I'd work from 8 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. The next week was 4 in the afternoon to 12 midnight. Excuse me. Next week was 12 midnight to 8 in the morning. Along with those rotating hours, I got rotating days off. So sometimes I'd get a Tuesday and a Wednesday off, a Friday and a Saturday. 4 or 5 times a year, I'd get an entire weekend. You know, they give you a lot of benefits, and one of those benefits was 10 holidays a year. But I had to work each and every one of them. Now, the reason why I was working that rotating shift is because it allowed me to make an extra $1,500 a month or more or so each and every month that I was trying to use to make ends meet. You know, I got a wife, 2 daughters, mortgage, but the harder and harder I worked, the further and further and further I seemed to fall behind. Then a very good friend of mine came to me and says, "Hey, John, how'd you like to take advantage of the deregulation of energy the way a company named Excel Communications took advantage of the deregulation of telecom did, only this time we get to be in the beginning?" And I got very, very excited. You see, Excel Communications got started in 1989. That company went from 0 to $1.4 billion by 1996. Why did I try to make that sound like it was a big number? Well, up until that point in time, the only other company to do $1 billion in annual revenues in under 10 years without outside mergers or acquisitions was a company called Microsoft. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. But so Microsoft was the gold standard until Excel knocked them right off their pedestal. Excel Communications went all the way up and then went all the way down. I got in and then it disappeared. But when I first got started, I was really excited. You see, to be a top 10 income earner in that company, you would have been bouncing around $150,000 a month. And I figured if all these people were willing to show me what I needed to do, I figured I was going to make some of that money too. I never made any money. I wasn't doing it wrong, but I was doing it at the wrong time. You see, in 1996, the cost to make a long distance call was about 25 cents a minute. Then it went 15 cents a minute, 10 cents a minute. What does it cost to make a long distance phone call today? It's free. So if the service you're providing is free, there's not a lot of profit in it. Hindsight being 2020, no wonder they went out of business in the early 2000s. But when I first got started, I didn't know that my timing was off. I had to analyze why all these people were making money and I wasn't. My first question was, who were these people? I found out that they were blue-collar workers, white-collar workers, business owners, non-business owners, professional people, stay-at-home people. It didn't matter race, color, creed, religion. It didn't matter if they were from Yale or jail. But they did have one thing in common. They all got started early in that company when it was in its first 15 full states or so. And as that company went from state to state to state to country to country to country, they became wealthy. Fast forward to December 2007. Did I just jump right in? No, I didn't. I asked Ray a few questions. The first question was, well, how far along is this? And as you're going to see, we're just entering our 15th state. And we're only in parts of states like California. We're only in 2 local little natural gas markets. Don't even have electricity out there. Virginia, the same thing. So the timing was right. So I says, okay. He said, you know, John, this opportunity is going to be about 10 times bigger. I said, well, how do you figure that? That was telecom. He said, yeah, telecom. All those people, over 3,000 millionaires created all off a $25 a month average long distance bill. Anybody in this web room heat and light their home from the $25 a month? I mean, unless you're living home with mom and dad, it ain't happening. I'm like, okay. And I was still a little hesitant because from my perspective, that other company kind of came and went. And like I said before, long distance went from 25 cents a minute to 0. He says, do you think natural gas and electricity for your home will ever be free, at least in our lifetime? I said, no. So I started my business, but my first thought was, man, I need something else to do, like I need another hole in the head. You see, if I had a day off that was on Monday through Friday, I worked at a buddy's construction company, Clover Construction, as a siding mechanic to make extra money. You do what you got to do to get what you want to get for yourself and your family. But I figured if I wanted something different, I'd approach it a little different. So I started my Ambit business, 4 to 6 hours a week. I just didn't have any more time to put into it. But a funny thing happened. About 11 months after I started, I had replicated what I was making on that rotating shift. I was able to buy my life back. I still had to work Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, but now my weekends off, my holidays off. I got to spend Thanksgiving and Christmas home for the first time with my family in almost a decade. But I didn't quit working the business. Now I can boom it up to about 6 to 8 hours a week because I was on a regular schedule. I didn't do anything spectacular, but I consistently did a little bit each and every week. A little after 2.5 years from when I first started my Ambit business, I found myself making twice as much part-time than I was full-time. I developed a medical condition around that time called I can't see going to work no more. So this is what I do full-time. That's my why. What's your why? You want a little extra income, get rid of some debt, more time with your family, provide more to a church or charity, build a nest egg, trying to save up for, pay for, or pay off college? Financial freedom. Most people's definition of financial freedom is winning the lottery. And that's a good definition. But a true definition is having a check that covers every single one of your monthly expenses each and every month coming in, plus a little left over. That's financial freedom. And for a lot of people's financial freedom number starts in the $3,000 to $5,000 a month range. For other people, it's 5 to 8 or 8 to 12, whatever it is. Ambit Energy can provide it. And when you take care of financial freedom, everything else just seems to fall into place. Become the finest and most respected retail energy provider in the country. This is our co-founder, Jerry W. Thompson Jr. He's our co-founder. Now, when I first got started, I didn't know who he was either. But I found out that his grandfather started a little ice house down in Dallas, Texas. His father, his uncles, and Jerry himself grew that concept into the #1 most successful franchise in the history of the planet. In fact, they are credited with creating the convenience store business model. You know that franchise best as 7-Eleven stores. Now, when Jerry's father and uncles decided to get out of that company and sell it, let's face it, Jerry was set for life. But not to content to rest on his laurels, he started his own companies in the early 90s, taking advantage of the deregulation of telecom. He started laying digital fiber optic cable network in the early 90s all over the Southwest. And at the time, it was thought that he was laying way too much bandwidth. Well, what came along in the 90s and started chewing up all that bandwidth? That's right, the internet. Allowed Jerry Thompson Jr. to turn around a few years later and sell his little startup for over $600 million. This is Jerry Thompson Jr. Not only is he an entrepreneur, he is a visionary. Our other co-founder, Chris Chambliss, he got to start right out of college in that company, XL Communications. Worked his way all the way up to executive vice president and was accredited with a lot of their success. I can think of no two better people I want running this country. We also reached $1 billion in annual revenues in a tick under 7 years. Now, the fact that we reached $1 billion, that's pretty good. But all the other companies that have done it, and there's only been a handful, all those other companies achieved it by being fully deployed internationally. When we did it, we were only in parts of 9 states and the District of Columbia. This thing's just getting started. When I first got started, I didn't know who Ambit was. I couldn't even hardly Google it or look it up on the internet. Today, it's not a question whether it's real or not. You don't have to take my word or Ambit's word. It's real. We've won 4 J.D. Power Awards over the last 3 years for different states for customer satisfaction. Named #1 fastest growing company, Inc. magazine. We've been in the Wall Street Journal. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. The legitimate credibility and research has been done. It's not a question whether it's real or not anymore. It's real. Energy monopolies are being broken up. The timing, you are in a sweet spot right now. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. How big is the opportunity? There's currently 28 states in various stages of deregulation. We're in parts of 15 of them. We still have to expand in the states that we're already in. We have to have expansion into the states that are deregulated. We have to have expansion into the states that haven't even started deregulating yet. They've been talking about Canada, going into Canada, Western Europe, Australia, New Zealand. You like kangaroos? This thing is just getting started. Now, people say, oh, wow, you've been around about 9 years. Must have been anybody left to talk to. Well, in our most concentrated market share, which is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it's where we got started, we got about 6.5% to 7% market share with customers. That being said, we put on more customers each and every month from that area than anywhere else. It's just a little bit under 2% in New York, way less than 1% everywhere else. That's why the lawyers have us say less than 3% market share. You know, when they talk about saturation of a product in any market, like cell phones or something like that, they're talking saturation being in a 35 to 40% of the market. This is nowhere near it, even in the markets that we're in. Here's how it works. What's very important to remember is that energy is deregulating. It's not fully deregulated yet. Therein lies the opportunity. So that means there's still companies with 1 foot over here and 1 foot over there. See, for well over 100 years, companies used to generate the power, deliver the power, and could charge you basically whatever they could get away with. In fact, they were guaranteed to make a profit. That's a pretty good business model. That's also called a monopoly, and that's why the government's breaking it up. Now, so they went to the utility companies and said, we're breaking you up, but because you were there first, you get to choose what area ultimately you want to be in. Well, the first area that all these companies are choosing to get out of is generation. Why? Although you might think of your local incumbent like Con Edison or a PPL or whatever as a huge company, in all actuality, think about it. They're just a small, little, regional player. Most of these companies aren't even statewide, let alone national or international, and they've never been able to employ the economies of scale to make generation very profitable. In fact, companies like PP&L in Pennsylvania, Con Edison in New York, for well over 4 years now, haven't generated 1 single kilowatt of electricity for their own customers. They don't want any part of retail either. Why? For well over 100 years, they've been a what? A monopoly. You went home and used energy, you generated a bill. They gave you a choice. Pay the bill or what? Learn to take cold showers in the dark. That's it. You know, they don't have any experience of gathering and holding and keeping customers happy and satisfied. That's not what they've done. Delivery. Here's where they shine. Why? They have the manpower, the expertise, and the infrastructure. They're still going to be responsible for taking the power from the point of generation to your meter. And for them, it's the original business model. It's still a mini monopoly. If you live in their area, they're still going to be delivering the power. So where does Ambit come in? We're the energy retail provider. We just go out and get points of distribution for energy. Or for lack of a better word, we get a few customers. You know, this is it in a nutshell. You know, when I was working all those hours all over the place, I understood that you worked a JOB, which I think stands for just over broke. That's kind of like where they pay you just enough so you don't leave. And how many people do you know do just enough so they don't get fired, right? Definition of a job. And I realized you work a job to earn a living, but you own a business to create a life. So what I did is I always looked at a lot of other businesses. And to me, they never made sense because I always had to look for a niche product. I had to look at somebody that wanted vitamin pills or somebody that wanted water filters or really sharp knives or cookware or health products or energy products. Everyone you know, everyone you don't know uses this stuff. You don't have to look for a consumer. I'm going to ask a silly question, but I want you to reflect upon it seriously for a moment. Anybody today in this web room, yesterday or today, before you left your house, unplug the refrigerator or shut off the hot water or heat? No? Interesting, isn't it? Think about that. We use this stuff 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It is unconsciously purchased and habitually used. This isn't a nice to have. This is an I gotta have it. It is a necessity. It is a recession-proof business. There's no cost to upgrade to Ambit. You're not locked in. It doesn't cost you anything if you want to get off. Nothing changes for the customer. Let's say you have Con Edison. Con Edison comes, reads your meter, sends you the bill. You pay Con Edison, and when you have a service problem, what? You give Con Edison a call. Well, when you upgrade to Ambit, Con Edison is still going to read your meter, send you the bill. You're still going to pay Con Edison, and if you have a service problem, you're still going to give them a call. The only difference is when you turn over the back of the bill where it says energy, it'll now say Ambit, and you're going to pay less. In some states like New York and others, guaranteed less. The only company to do that. As a business owner, I just don't see where it gets any better than this. There's no inventories, no deliveries. We don't collect money from anybody. There's no employees, and I like to put in there's no monthly minimums or quotas that you have to do. What do the customers get? They're going to save money, period. In some markets, we have guaranteed savings. In other markets, we just have less rates, term plans. The bottom line is a customer is going to save money, period. Satisfaction guaranteed. Greenie products, certified products for people that are environmentally conscious. Everybody gets a free gift just for trying the service. Everybody automatically gets enrolled in a monthly travel rewards points program. What's this? You earn points for the energy you use. You can save them up and turn them in for like day spa trips, Carnival cruises, airline tickets. There's a whole handful of different vacation packages. All customers receive a free website. Now, why does a customer need a free website? Well, doesn't cost anything to become a customer, but they can check out how many points they're saving, different vacation plans, but also if they don't want to have to wait until they save up all those points, they can simply refer 5 other people that gets the exact same great deal that they do. Remember, it doesn't cost anything to become a customer. That remain on the service for just 2 months, and they'll earn that vacation package. Now, because we're strategically aligned with one of the largest energy corporations in the world, remember what I was talking about before about economies of scale? Because we're aligned with the second largest energy corporation in the world, we can offer some things to our customers that no one else can come close to, such as refer another 10 customers for a total of 15, and they can receive a free energy credit up to and including free energy. Excuse me, just taking a drink of water. So how does this work? Well, let's say you got an electric bill that's $200, give or take. About $100 delivery, about $100 supply. Can't do anything about the delivery. That's the local incumbent's money for maintaining the infrastructure, reading the meter, yada, yada. But on the supply side, if for 15 or more people, Ambit Energy is going to take the average of that supply, and let's say it's $80. Well, you're now going to get a bill that says $100 delivery, only $20 supply. Effectively what? Giving you a 40% discount. That's pretty good. Let's face it, no one comes close to that. But let's say the people you referred used more energy than you did. Because this is a non-taxable event, strictly a rebate program, doesn't impact anybody in Social Security, disability, welfare, anything, you're going to get up to and including your usage. So you're now going to get a bill that says $100 delivery, 0 supply. Effectively what? Wiping out half your bill. Now, a couple of things with this. You can use this for both gas and electricity in areas that we offer it. There's no time limit on the amount of time it takes you to refer those customers, and it's just not an introductory offer. You're just not getting that for the first month or the first year. You're getting it forever. In fact, many consultants that do this business, just as a matter of course of doing the business, they end up qualifying for that free energy, saving 20, 30, 40, 50% or more off their energy bill. That's not a bad fringe benefit. Excuse me. And here's why it works. Here's our marketing model. Rather than going out, excuse me, I'm fighting a cold. I got a cough here for a second. Wait. Okay, I'm back after the brief intermission. Okay, here's our marketing model, and here's why it works. Rather than going out there and spending tens of millions of dollars in advertising, which I always thought was like gambling, you're putting the money out there on what? In hopes of winning a few customers. Well, Ambit doesn't do that. Ambit gets you, the consultant, to go out and gather a handful of customers. Just a handful. When I got started 7.5 years ago, I went out and I gathered 17 people, a whopping 17 people just to save money on their energy bills. Well, who are they? It was my mom, my brother, my 2 sister-in-laws, a couple friends and family, guy from my car club. That's it. This opportunity is not about cold calling out of the white pages, knocking on doors, handing out flyers, or doing advertising. Just a few friends and family that use the service, drive revenue to the company, and the company pays us, at least what I consider to be a lot of money, but in all actuality is extremely cost-effective for the company. Why? You see, our marketing model is 100% efficient. Think about it. No monies are paid out until after customers are gathered. We have the lowest customer acquisition cost in the industry. I mean, we make recommendations every day, don't you? read a good book, restaurant, see a good movie. You ever get paid for it? Google, what's your favorite Google commercial? Started by two kids in a dorm room. So how'd they get so big? They don't have any commercials, do they? So how'd they get so big? They told a couple of their friends, who told a couple of friends, who told a couple. Word of mouth advertising is the strongest form of marketing known to man. Madison Avenue is always trying to tap into that. You know, you want to start a business, any business. I don't care if it's a lemonade stand or a string of hotel casinos. It's going to take a little startup capital. And Ambit Energy is no different. Well, believe it or not, until recently, it used to be $429 one-time fee. It is now free. They've removed that obstacle. It is free until November 20th. What is it going to be after that? I don't know. They may extend it, move it up a little, whatever. But right now, it's free. With no annual renewal. You know, a lot of people skip over this, but this is huge. You know, a lot of other home-based businesses, usually you have to re-up your position with another $99, $200, or whatever it is, or you must maintain certain personal sales quotas each and every month or quarter a year. Otherwise, you lose your position. Well, with Ambit Energy, you don't have any quote-unquote position to re-up. You own a business outright from day one. It's yours. It's a hard asset. It's yours. It's put together very similar to like a 7-Eleven franchise business. You own it. Okay? You can build it up and sell your business. You can give it away to somebody else. You can bequeath your business. You know, one of the reasons why my wife allowed me to leave a very benefit-laden union JOB is that God forbid anything would happen to me, my wife and two daughters would still continue to receive my Ambit income. You only out-of-pocket expense your entire overhead, $25 a month. That's it. That's it. You can't even buy a cup of coffee every day for that amount of money on a monthly basis. And for $25 a month, you're partnered up with one of the fastest growing, one of the best opportunities out there that's strategically aligned with one of the largest energy corporations in the world. You get a nice kit in the mail. You get a suite of websites that gives you everything you need to build the business. You have a flexible schedule. You don't have to give up what you're doing now to start your Ambit business. Many people just start at a few hours a week. You know, when I started it, most of my 4 to 6 hours every week was spent in the car traveling back and forth to New York City because I had a minimum of an hour ride each and every way. When traffic hit, it was anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. Just making phone calls. That's how I built my business. I just fitted it. I dovetailed it into what I was doing. Incredible tax benefits. If you're a W-2 employee and you don't own any home business, you're missing out on thousands and thousands of dollars of legitimate and ethical tax write-offs you could be taking each and every year. Unlimited income potential. How much do you want to make? That other opportunity created 3,000 millionaires. We have about 40 so far with Ambit. You see, it's just getting started. In fact, I'm one of them. We have people making, believe it or not, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month right now in Ambit. How much you want to make? Well, that's up to you. Well, you got to ask yourself, what's in it for me? How does the money work? And can you do it? It's not really can you do it. It's if you want to do it. I know you can do it if you want. Not everybody wants to do this type of business. Fair enough. I get it. That's fine. But I know you can do it. Why? You know, I'm not the sharpest crayon in the box, but after 7.5 years, you do pick up on a few things. And I know you can do it if you want, because we only do two simple things. We gather a handful of loyal customers we know, love, and trust. And I went through who those were. And the other thing we do is that we ask some of the people we know to take a look at this, just like you're taking a look at it. And if they want to get started, you don't have to talk them into it. They'll tell you, and then you help them do the same thing. And that's it. That's what we do. And I show people a lot of money. And people say, I don't get it. What's the catch? Something's not adding up here. You know, I'm 2 + 2. I'm getting 75 here. What's up? What's the catch? For a lot of people, this is the catch. We only do two simple things. You see, there's incredible genius in simplicity. Think about it. If you broke anything down, any job, any task down, so that anybody could do it if they wanted, and then you were going to throw a lot of money on the table, what do you think would happen? Well, you're going to get a lot of people that's going to be doing it, right? And when you get that, you get duplication, you get growth. Well, the proof is in the pudding. We were one of the fastest, in fact, in 2010, we were the fastest growing company in the country. Why? In no small part, I believe, to this dynamic right here. We only do two simple things. Here's how the money works. Let's say you want to get started. You pull out a credit or debit card, you put about $25 on it. If you have any local sales tax on the $24.95 a month website, so be it, about $25. You pick a name for your company, for your business. Ambit Energy instantaneously sets up the websites. You get credit for 2 households or 2 customers. Now, most people, nothing's going to change. Everything's going to remain the same. You're going to get some savings. Most people become their own first customer. Excuse me. Now, when you go out and sign up just 2 more people that want to save some money, doesn't cost them anything, you're in $100. Now, you got 4 weeks to do that. We like the new consultant doing this in the first day or 2. Why? Because everything that you do that triggers up until Friday pays out the next Friday. It's your money. Don't wait. They're running another promotion on top of free if that wasn't enough. Gather another 2 customers, people just to try the service in that same 4-week time frame, get another $100. They give you another 4 weeks to find 3 more people that want to save. They give you another 100. So let's recap. Your website, yourself, 2 people just to try the service. Basically, you quadrupled your money. You go out 8 weeks, just find yourself plus 7 people to do it. You made about 10 times your money, $250. In fact, you can go out in your first 12 weeks just finding people that want to save. You can earn up to $450. And if you do this, and if you're on your own customer, you're going to qualify for that free energy I was talking about, saving an additional 20, 30, 40, 50% or whatever off your energy bill. Now, this is not a bad start, but here's how we promote and earn more. We do something called 526. This is the building blocks to our compensation plan. Not too hard. Website, 3 customers, that's 5. The other thing we do is that we show a few people the business. So you show Don the business. Don likes what he sees. He comes in, website, 3 customers, 28 days. Don earns 100. You earn 100 for helping Don. In this business, we get paid for helping others. Now, Don has that same opportunity to earn that extra $50 bonus. When he earns that extra $50 bonus, you earn it too. You show Gail the business. Gail likes what he sees, website, customers. She earns 100, you earn 100. She gets another 50, you get another 50. We call these jumpstart bonuses. We use these to recoup the consultant's initial investment and put a few $100 profit in their pocket just by starting a business. Especially right now, this 100s, really 150, 150, 150. Cost you $25 to get started. When your team grows to a whopping 6 people, you're going to promote yourself to that of regional consultant, something that I consider the most important leadership position in Ambit. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is another $55 on the table. What do you got to do to pick this up? Well, we only do 2 things. So you show George the business. George likes what he sees, website, 3 customers in 28 days. George earns 100. You earn 100, but now you're getting a $55 bonus. So it's 155. Mary gets 100, you get 155. That's pretty good. Well, here's where it gets a little bit better. Because as George and Mary go out and share this with a few people and so on and so forth, anytime anyone comes into this organization, like whatever you want to call it, gets a website, 3 customers in 28 days, they earn 100. The person that introduced them earns 100. But you're earning 55. That's 55, 55, 55, 55, 55. This gets paid to unlimited levels with no cap on the number of people coming into that organization. Do a few more things, become a senior consultant. We call this SC, or Serious Cash for short. Why? Because now when you can earn up to $235 every time you personally introduce somebody into the business, or up to $135 again, anytime anyone, website, 3 customers, 28 days, they earn 100. The person that introduced them earns 100. You're earning up to 135, 135, 135. Again, paid to unlimited levels. And while you're earning these 135s over here, you're still earning these 55s over there. You know, do a few more things, become an executive consultant. It's more money on top of more money, national, more money on top of more money. These are called leadership bonuses. These get paid out every week. Everything that triggers up until Friday pays out next Friday. Now, this money's pretty good, but it's not why I'm doing the business. Not sending it back, but it's not why I'm doing the business. This is why I'm doing the business. Something called residual income. Difference between residual and linear. Linear is you work for now, you get paid for now. You work for a week, you get paid for a week. You do sales, you get paid. You're in business, you get paid. You stop doing, what happens? Yeah, funny how that works, isn't it? Residuals is like royalties. Think of the music industry. 3 of the top 10 income earners last year. Who? Michael Jackson, Elvis, the Beatles. Really haven't heard a lot of their new stuff lately. But their estates, well, Paul and Ringo, they're still getting paid decade after decade after decade on stuff that was done long ago. And in Ambit, you get paid for what you start. And you get paid like a rock star down through 7 levels or 7 generations. So how do we build this? Well, like I said before, we do 2 things. And one of the things you want to do is that you want to share this with a few people, and you want to find 3 motivated business partners. Keyword motivated. Definition, let's keep it simple. Just find 3 people that want to do this as bad or worse than you do. Simple enough. 3 who get 3 who get 3. This is an actual average in our industry, not just with energy, but all this type of business, network marketing. So over time, one would expect to have about 3,300 people in their 7-level organizations. Now, what do you have to do to get paid on all this? Well, this is not a magic lottery ticket. Ambit Energy wants you to go out and do something. What they want you to do is they want you to go out and find a handful of customers, 20 customers. Now, some people say, no problem, John, got it covered, got 20 brothers and sisters. Other people say, well, I don't know if I know that many people. Well, first of all, that number is really not as big as you think. Why? Because your website counts as what? As 2. So that number really starts off at 18. If you know anybody that has electricity and natural gas, they count as 2. We've also just rolled out solar. Yep, solar in 4 states: California, New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, and we're licensed in 15, but we just rolled it out. If somebody's also a solar customer, that counts as 1. Let's say your neighbor doesn't want to do the business, but they become a customer and they want to get that free energy, so they refer 15 people for their free energy. Guess whose customers they are? Guess what they count towards? That's right, they count toward that 20. Don't know a lot of people? Find 1 person, help them achieve free energy. That number's not so big anymore, is it? Nope. If everybody goes out and does what they're supposed to do, which they don't, but if they did, you'd have over 65,000 customers in that 7-level organization. If everybody was a band 1, what's a band? That's a minimum use customer. Somebody in a studio apartment, somebody that has a total like $40 a month electric bill. Usually when I do a live business presentation, I'll have 50, 60 people in the audience, and I ask, who's a band 1? Usually I'll get 0 people raise their hand, or I'll get 1 person raise their hand. Now, I'm going to show you a big number, and people get taken back. In fact, the first time I saw it, I was taken back. I was like, yeah, right, how could that be? My first thought was, how could they pay out so much? And then I looked at it, and I thought about it for a second. You know, Ambit Energy doesn't really pay out a lot. There's just not that much money in each person's utility bill to pay out a whole heck of a lot of money on each bill. But in Ambit, you can go out and gather a handful and get paid on tens, hundreds, thousands, and tens of thousands. See, they only pay out a whopping nickel on this person's gas bill each and every month. You're getting 20 cents here, whopping $1.50 off of this person's bill. You see, you don't get paid a lot on each bill, but you have the opportunity to get paid on a lot of bills. So if everybody went out and did what they were supposed to do, if everybody was that minimum use customer, that would pay you out over $78,000 a month. A month! Pretty incredible. But not everybody does what they're supposed to do. And you know what? That seems like a big number, but right now we have people in Ambit earning multiples of this right now. Like I said, not everybody does what they're supposed to do. Why? I don't know. How many people do you know make the same New Year's resolution every year? How many people you know join a gym over and over and over again? Human nature. Not everybody follows through with what they were going to do, right? So let's say you go and get your 20 customers. Everybody else's average is half. These 3 consultants get 10 each, so that's 30 and so on. That's still close to $40,000 a month. Now, I realize some people don't make that in a year, so it's hard to wrap your head around making that every month, and maybe you're just skeptical. I get it. So you go out and do what you're supposed to do, and everybody else just gets 3. Just 3. These 3 consultants get 3 each, so that's 9, 27, all the way down. Now, why the number 3? Well, most people coming into Ambit, believe it or not, will stay focused long enough to become their own first customer and get two more people real quick. Why? They want to get that first $100. That's still close to $12,000 a month. Still a little high? Some people are cynical. I get it. All right, let's break it down even further. You do what you're supposed to do, but your entire team, all they ever managed to do is talk themselves into being their own first customer. I mean, they argued a little bit, went back and forth, but after a couple of days, they finally won themselves over and became their own customer. I'm not trying to be glib here, but I just want to show you the power. If everybody just became their own customer, you're still talking about $4,000 a month. Now, I know that's not slow up the truck mom, move to Beverly Hills and buy a mansion and yacht type of money. But would an extra $4,000, $6,000, $8,000, $12,000 or more each and every month have a significant positive impact on your household budget? Is that worth doing 4, 6, 8 hours a week over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years to get that coming in like one of those lottery scratch-off win for lives, month after month getting paid? Only you can answer that if it's worth it. And this is if everybody's a band 1. We get paid band 1 and band 5. What's a band 5? 4,000 or 5,000 square foot home with multiple kids that like to leave the lights and TVs on. Not everybody's a band 5, but if they were, this $11,000 right here would be quadrupled. Not everybody's a band 1 either. It's somewhat of a mix, somewhere in between. And then when you become a regional consultant, Ambit Energy is going to give you an extra 25 cents per customer per month. And I got new people listening to me for the first time saying, what's up with this guy, John? He was just selling me $78,000 a month. Now he's trying to get me excited about a quarter. What's up with that? Well, look at it. If Ambit Energy is going to overlay an extra 25 cents on all these customers, let's just up that customer right there to 10,000 customers. And notice we're going just with 3 customers per consultant here. So we round this up to 10,000 customers. 10,000 times 25 cents is what? That's an extra $2,500 a month. That's on top of this $11,000. As a senior consultant, an extra 50 cents per customer, executive 75, national $1. You know, what's very, very exciting is that not only do they overlay this on the first 7 levels, this gets paid to unlimited depth. You see, if you build your business, as your 7th level fills out, you'll develop an 8th level, a 9th level, a 10th level. And sooner or later, the way the math works, you'll have more people doing the business and more customers below your 7th level than above. For some people in Ambit, that's the way it is right now. In fact, I'm one of them. And just from these quarters, none of the other money that you saw, just these quarters, it pays for every single one of my household expenses and sending my 2 daughters to college. My oldest daughter is in her 4th year. My youngest just started, just off these quarters. So let me ask you, how many people do you want each and every month, every time they pay their gas, electric, or solar bill, to throw an extra 25 cents to $3? Why $3? Well, if they're gas, electric, solar, they're throwing it in 3 times. Every time they pay those utility bills, they throw an extra 25 cents, 50 cents, all the way up to $3 a month in the account of your choice, month after month after month. And it keeps building. How many people do you want? You know, we're going to wrap it up. We'll get you out of here. It's getting late. But here's why it works. A little bit about what I was saying before. It's a service. It's not a product. You know, beyond looking for a niche market with those other deals, I always envisioned my white-haired mom on a fixed income going to her, asking her to budget extra money each and every month that I know she couldn't afford to buy a product that she may or may not want, need, or if she wanted, she could probably get cheaper at Walmart if she really wanted something like that. You know, it never made sense to me to go into my friends and family asking them to take $1 out of their pocket so I could put 50 cents in mine. But when I saw Ambit, it made all the sense in the world. My mom was already using natural gas. I went to her basically and said, is it okay if I throw a couple extra bucks in your pocket each and every month with nothing changing? And if you allow me to do that, you're doing me a favor. That's what we're doing. You know, people say, well, how much you saving? What's the dynamics? I don't know if I could go to people. Let's break it down. I'll ask you. You're driving up the block. You're in a car. Your gas needle's on E. You need gas. There's 2 gas stations right next to each other. There's no lines. It's the same gas, two stations. One's at $3 a gallon, the other one's at $2.90. And your best friend owns the station at $2.90, and they're standing there waving at you as you're driving up the block. Which one are you pulling into? That's a no-brainer, isn't it? You're pulling into your best friend's station at $2.90. You know what? That's the dynamic that we have here with Ambit Energy. Rather than your friends and family and your people, paying extra to some faceless corporation, they can pull into your quote-unquote energy store, save a couple of bucks, and get to say hello. That is a win-win scenario. And anytime, any studies that have done on business, anytime you can create a win-win scenario, extraordinary things happen. This is one of the reasons why I think we have so many people doing relatively well over a short period of time. They're not going to friends and family asking them to take money out of their pocket. They're going to friends and family and saying, hey, is it okay if I put a little bit in? The power of part-time. You can do this full-time, part-time, but it's not a magic lottery ticket. You're going to get out what you put in. That being said, you're one conversation away from financial freedom. How do I know this? We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of examples on our team alone. Okay? I'm going to share one with you that's very near and dear to my heart. When they opened up NYSEG in upstate New York in April 2010, I knew one person up there. I put this couple in the business. They came into the business. I'll be honest with you. They did a little bit, not too much. But they introduced the business to a stay-at-home mom. That came in, that did a little bit, but not too much. Who introduced this business to a local businessman. And he flat out killed the business. He made over six figures his second year in the business. He's been on magazine covers, won awards, trips, yada, yada, you name it, he did it. Well, the stay-at-home mom basically worked their business from January to August. And her youngest daughter started school, and she was making a couple $100 a month of residual income from this local businessman, putting all these people in and gathering customers, and she was very happy. So basically, she stopped doing Ambit, could dote on her daughter. That's fine. But every month, Ambit Energy sent her residual income check. In this business, you get paid for what you start. The last time I talked to her, her residual income check was over $7,000 for the month. That's $84,000 a year, and it's growing. The couple, they really didn't do too much except put the stay-at-home mom in. Their residual income check at the same time was over $7,600. That organization is worth between $12,000 and $15,000 a month to me and my family. I like them a lot. No, but the point I'm trying to make is this. You don't have to come into Ambit and be a superstar. You don't have to know or find the superstar. You just have to find the person that finds a person that finds a person. You are one conversation away from financial freedom. Lucrative compensation, pretty complicated. I was in about 18 months before I realized the power of the quarters when that started to build on my paycheck. That's what kind of like when I started to take notice. But we get paid three basic ways. Let's keep it simple. You're going to get some jumpstart bonuses that's going to allow you to make a few $100s just for starting your business. Then you're going to get those weekly bonuses for regional, senior, executive, as you're building up that long-term retirement residual income. Perfect timing. This is it in a nutshell. I mean, when I first got started, they were opening up one new market every 12 to 18 months. In New York, after they opened up Texas, they opened up in June 2007, they opened up Con Edison, New York. Then in November 2008, National Grid at upstate New York. Then in April 2010, NYSEG, upstate New York. They skipped over 2009 completely. You know what? This year alone, we've opened up, I think it is 7 or 8 markets in a few states. They're going to be announcing a few more states opening up in January. Okay? More markets, further expansion. They're deregulating. The whole industry is deregulating faster and faster and faster. And we're going into more markets faster and faster and faster. What does that momentum mean? That means consultants that took 7, 8, 9 years to build to a certain level is being replicated by people just in or not even in yet in 2, 3, 4 years. It's the timing. It's a sweet spot, especially with the zero down to get started. You also have all the credibility. When I first got started, we didn't have Inc. magazine. We didn't have J.D. Powers. We didn't have the videos that we did. We didn't have these online presentations. We didn't have the Wall Street Journal. We didn't have any of that. The credibility is there. It's not a question whether it's real or not. It's real now. It's not a question whether people making money. You can point to the magazines and show people making money. And the other part on the timing is this. Think of the economy. You know, I don't care if you read the Wall Street Journal or not, or listen to this politician or that politician. You be the judge. How many people do you know didn't get the promotion they wanted this year, or the raise they wanted this year, or they're working 2 jobs or 3 jobs, or overtime, or they can't get overtime, or they have healthcare costs, or they're upside down on a mortgage, or they're saving for a house, or they got credit card bills, or they're trying to save up for college, or pay off college, or you got 2 spouses working and one wants to stay home with the kids instead of putting in daycare, or people saving up for retirement. How many people's 401k plans look like 101k plans now? You know anybody like that? Well, to be honest, most people know most people like that, don't we? And the beautiful thing about Ambit is this. You don't have to find dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of people that want to do this business. You find 3 or 4 or 5 good people, 3 people that want to do this as bad as you do. Remember that residual income chart? 3 people that find 3 people that find 3 people. And if everybody just gathers 3, 4, 5, 6 customers each, were those residual income numbers pretty good, or were they pretty good? So that's the beautiful thing about this thing. You just have to find a few that find a few. Now, the only thing I'm going to ask you to take on faith tonight is don't worry about how you're going to do the business. Don't try to wrap your mind around, oh, I've never done this before. How am I going to do it? We'll give you the how. You're in a web room right now. Every week we send out to our team an email. We have several online trainings each and every week, several online business presentations each and every week, several conference calls each and every week. We have our own websites with online training, audio, video. We give you everything you need to build the business, personal mentoring, people there to answer your questions, to help you do it, to help you get started. We give you the bike, point you in the right direction. We even put some training wheels on it. All you have to do is get on and pedal. Well, you also have to make a decision. If you're in this web room here tonight and you are looking for something more for yourself and your family, I'll submit that I think Ambit Energy may be the vehicle of positive change for you. Well, if you agree, then get with the person that invited you on, get your questions answered, become your own first customer, and allow us to help you take control of your financial future and help you get what you want to get out of this thing. If you're taking a look at this thing and say, it's just not my cup of tea, John, it's just not for me. Okay, I get it. Not everybody wants to do this type of business. Then no is a good answer for you. Don't sign up just because it's 0. You're not helping anybody out. No is a good answer for you because it frees you up to allow you to go out and look for something else that's maybe a little bit more up your alley. You know, Colin Powell said more battles were lost in history due to the commander or the general's indecision rather than the general making the wrong decision. Well, how does that work? Well, think about it. If you're sitting in this web room and you want something more, you try something. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, you'll know, shut it down, and what? You try something else. And you keep trying until what? You find what it is that works, that gives you what you want to give for yourself and your family. But if you want something more and you don't do anything more, if you continue to do what you've always done, basically you're going to continue to get what you've always gotten. That was my definition of insanity for over 30 years, doing the same thing over and over, harder and harder, and expecting something different. You know, sometimes you got to break out of your comfort zone, and that's a good thing. You know, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. You know, you look at the risk reward, you're risking $25 to get started. If you do nothing at the end of the year, you're going to have some very nice write-offs. On the other hand, what's the upside? We have a gentleman making over $725,000 a month. Where are you going to land? Probably somewhere in between if you do something. That's up to you. Again, not to be glib, but this is what you make it. But remember, in Ambit, you're one conversation away from financial freedom. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Have a blessed night. Good night.